So, can I be mean real quick? What the fuck were they doing with Sohi's hair during debut? I'm not talking about the blonde, orange t-shirt, talk sexy. He looked really good. I'm talking about promotional era Sohi where he had his dark hair back, right? But it was frizzle frazzle in the back, right? He looked like a child, derogatory. He looked prepubescent, derogatory. I thought his hair looked weird, but I didn't think it was curly just yet. Then his then his baby pictures dropped, and I was like, oh, that's why. His stylist doesn't know what to do with his hair. Okay, so today I want to talk about how Sohi might have curly and or wavy hair, and how this isn't just a matter of aesthetic, but also desirability politics. Yeah, so I will also end this with a critique of self because hair is very intimate and I don't know so he doesn't know me. So why am I talking about his hair? And then I'm also going to give tips, like hair care tips for anyone, not just Sohi, who might now think they might have curly hair. Now, I have a hypothesis, and hypotheses are a bit problematic because the scientific method is a bit problematic. How do you know that you're not unintentionally, but deliberately looking for data that will verify your preconceived notions, right? But I have a hypothesis. I think there are a lot of Asian people who have curly and or wavy hair and they don't know because their society, their beauty standard is straight hair. So their products are for straight hair. And when you don't take care of curly hair, it flattens out and it ends up being frizzy. Right? And it's not just Asian people. There's like white people in the Appalachians, right? Who are mixed with a bunch of stuff, but they have like textured hair, right? And they'll talk about, oh yeah, my hair is frizzy or it's curly or it's straight. It's all of this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, frizzy hair is not a hair texture. This is mismanagement. So we're going to talk about Asian people because he's Asian, but like, this is what I'm always thinking about. There are 4 hair types, but there's also discrepancies on whether if those are like valid hair types to be discussing because the person who made those hair types is a texturist, which is a form of futurism, which is adjacent to colorism, meaning he does not actually respect the diversity of humans that all humans can come in, right? And I mean, there's type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, right? Type 1 is straight, type 2 is wavy, type 3 is curly, type 4 is kinky coily. I have type 4. And then even type 2, 3, and 4 have sub points, which are A, B, and C. But even that's just like, okay, what's A, what's B, what's C? Like people are just like, oh my God, I have type 4B, type 4C, type 4Z. Like that is like barely like, like whatever. Just pick one, try to figure it out. Hair is hair, but also no, it's not. And I would have to also say that someone in my comments was like, no, I think so. He has pre-type 1 hair, which is so straight that it sticks up. So where type 1 would be like actual straight and it like lays flat, just silky and smooth, right? His hair is so straight that it just can't lay down. It just sticks up. Well, that's what that person was like hypothesizing for Sohi. Whereas I'm hypothesizing his hair is frizzy because he has curls. Anyways, I have notes, girl. Yes, girl, I have notes. And I'm just gonna like talk about it just a bit because I'm like, my love language is like information and data and like learning. Ooh, not to poke my eye out, but learning. So I already talked about how frizzy hair is not a texture, it's mismanagement. I talked about the hair chart and how there's discrepancies about it because, hey, like, respect, like, like, why would I listen to you? You don't even respect kinky coily hair. Okay. And then I wanted to say, yes, as you can see, I'm Black, right? So I'm not in close community with Asian people, so I don't actually get to see the in-depth or like I don't actually have access to complete information about like Asian hair hygiene, maintenance or whatever. So like I don't know anything where I actually don't know details, right? But from what I am a very observant person. So from the data that I've been able to observe so far, I do sit with that and I do like, like meditate on the information that I have. But I do recognize my Blackness, and because I don't have access to Asian hair care and Asian grooming rituals, I actually don't know a lot. So I would like people to comment and inform me about things that I might be missing. But also, I do have some credibility because I've had my natural hair for the past 10 years. I had my first big chop May of 2015. Yeah, 2015. And then I had a second one right before COVID. And then I had a recent one in 2023 where I was skin bald. So I know that beauty is a journey and it's a constant practice. You have to continue to explore and experiment with self, not just with hair, with makeup, with clothes, with your body. Like your body's always going to be growing taller, bigger, shorter, Shorter is for like older people. Older people start shrinking, but you know what I mean? Like your face, like your hormones change, and then like your fat proportions change and all that. Like beauty and being perceived as beautiful is a constant like journey and exploration of self, right? And the truth is that Sohi, as a K-pop idol, he has many jobs to be doing, but one of them is being beautiful. So that will consist of him cutting his hair, bleaching and dyeing his hair, and potentially perming his hair if he's Korean and the beauty standard is straight hair. But like we actually don't know if he's perming his hair. He might be. But the thing about perming and bleaching hair is that it is damaging to the hair. And I feel like people who have sense, and you're watching this, you look your best when you're healthy. You look your hottest when you are healthy. And not just also physically, mentally. Something about confidence and knowing that you are the cutest person in the room because you know you're cute. You love yourself. You're mentally like healthy. You look better. It's a mentality thing. It's eating properly. It's exercising. It's doing everything you can do to promote your health. It's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever other thing that you could about. You know what I mean? So Sohi's job is to be beautiful. And actually, it's not Sohi's job. Let me go back to debut. I have a problem with stylists who go to school to be a hairstylist and they only know how to take care of one type of hair. It's a problem here in America where people will go to cosmetology school and they don't know how to take care of kinky, coily hair. If you can't take care of if you can't take care of the public, you need to have your license revoked. So to the hairstylist who did Sohi's hair during debut, why were you trying to sabotage him? Because that was also the era where everyone was making fun of how he looked and everything in his family background and everything. It's sort of like you didn't help the situation now, did you? And how do you let yourself know? How do you let your work look like that and you let him go outside looking like that every day? It's not actually Sohi. Like, yeah, it's Sohi's job to look good, but also no, it's the hairstylist's job to style his hair so he looks good. So it's actually your job. You can't do your job right? Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, that's what I thought. But let me get back to what I was trying to say, right? It's his job to be beautiful. And back to the debut hair, that was his weakest aesthetic era. Hair, right? In my opinion, right? And low-key was because his hair was fried and damaged. Like, let's just be honest. It's probably the most damaged his hair did look. I said frizzle frazzle for a reason, right? But I would also have to say that I'm a bit hesitant to even bring up his hair texture because we're going to get into the politics of it. Like it's actual true politics. Desirability politics is real politics, right? The politics of his hair, right? Because y'all, like he was already being bullied. That era, y'all were coming after his teeth and his family lineage. That's weird. And in fact, his hair also does have to do with his family lineage. And we're going to discuss it. And I'm going to have to be very careful because like maybe I should start putting allegedly, because I'm not getting, you gonna sue me? Who gonna sue me? Why would you sue me? I'm just I'm speculating. Ah, that's scary. But yeah, y'all were bullying him about his teeth. His teeth are so cute. Y'all are just haters. Y'all talking about, oh, his family isn't rich. So he works hard to get in places that he deserves to be because he's a hard worker. Hard worker equals provider. You don't want your man to be a provider. You're hating on him because he had to work extra hard to get half of whatever, blah, 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 blah. Y'all don't love him the way I do. Just say that. And I'm not saying I do, but like Sohi fans, Sohi biases, people who bias Sohi, y'all know, y'all see it. Y'all see it. And everybody else who can't see it, just like, honestly, shut up. You look like a fool. You look dumb. You're embarrassing yourself. Not liking it's one of those things where like, I'm going to talk about spell work a bit, but like Loki, Sohi's doing spell work to some extent. So if you don't like Sohi, that says a lot about you than him. Something about like, he can't be fooling all of us. He radiates good vibes. That if you don't like Sohi, that just means you're a bitter bitch. That's what you are. Anyways, let me discuss the politics. He is Korean. Korea has like 90% or 90% of the population is Korean. That's actually like they're a homogeneous population. Most of the population is Korean. You'll turn this way and that way and you're not going to see a foreigner unless you're in a city. But like that's it. But most of the country, it's majority Koreans, right? They have a culture of conformity. It's almost adjacent to Japan as well, but I don't know how xenophobic, like Korea is xenophobic. I don't know how xenophobic Japan is. I'm not aware of how xenophobic it gets in Japan, but I know that it's xenophobic in Korea. And this is one of the things where it's just like, yeah, I'm not Asian, so I have a hard time pinpointing what part of Asia someone is from. Like, I have been able to guess right sometimes, but for the most part, I've guessed wrong enough for me to know I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I just wait for an Asian person to tell me, oh, yes, I'm Chinese. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm Japanese. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm from Thailand. Oh, yes. Okay. Whatever. Because, like, I'm really bad at pinpointing it. I can't do it, but I am African, so I can pinpoint a Nigerian, an Ethiopian, a South African, a Congolese person, a Kenyan. Like, I get it. It's like you have to be in it, in it, but like you have to be in it, in the community, yeah, in community to really be able to pinpoint the different types. Like, girl, when I tell you, I used to. Let me see if I have the hat. I don't think I have the hat on me, man. I don't have a hat. Girl, oh, I found the hat, right? No, this isn't the Burger King hat. This is Cinemark. When I used to work at Cinemark, but also any fast food place, right? This is how I would be working. Actually, it did also happen in Cinemark, right? Can you see my forehead? Can you see my forehead? No, but there were African people who would see my face and go, "So what part? So where in East Africa are you from?" So it wasn't just my forehead. Something about this face is aggressively Kenyan. Aggressively Kenyan. So yeah, you just have to be in the club to really be able to pinpoint it. My siblings laughing. And they're still laughing. Okay, yeah, so it's just one of those things. I say this to say that I've at least seen it twice where people think Sohi looks foreign. Sohi doesn't look Korean to other Koreans, right? So I said what? Korea is a homogeneous population. Korea has a xenophobia problem. Do you think it would be to would it do you think it would be to would it help Sohi look more Korean to have curly hair? Would Sohi look more Korean with curly hair, or would people now think he definitely looks foreign? And I didn't really talk about the concept of like xenophobia, right? Xenophobia to me is just another type of bigotry, right? And low-key every time, right? Or like, how do I want to explain it? I use the metaphor of like xenophobia and I compared it to homophobia, where it's like, it's not that I'm homophobic and I think that people who are queer deserve to be discriminated against. But the truth is that if you perceive me as queer and I'm not queer, what you're saying is that you're potentially opening me up to mistreatment. And I don't want to be mistreated for something that I'm not even. It's not that I think that queer people should be mistreated. I'm just saying that would it make sense for me to be mistreated for something that I'm not? You know what I mean? So every time he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm Korean. I low-key, like, I vaguely feel like he's somewhat kind of like defending his humanity. Just a bit. And I feel like if he had curly hair and therefore he looked even more foreign to a bunch of other Koreans, he would have to defend his humanity a bit more, just a bit. Or at least defend his Koreanness. But like, I don't know. That's what I think. Every time I think about like him like having to defend the fact that he's like when other Korean people don't see him as Korean, I'm just like, oh, that probably is doing something to him. Like, does he look, because I can't see it. He said he was Korean, so I believe that he's Korean, but like, what do they think Sohi is? You know what I mean? It's just like, if you thought he was foreign, what did you think he was? Japanese, Chinese, Southeast Asian. And no, East Asian people are so weird about Southeast Asian people. So like, again, it low-key is him having to defend his humanity. That's part of why, like, hey, this is political. Hair is always going to be political. I mean, I'm Black, so I've experienced like like my hair being politicized, right? And this even goes into the next point where it's like, oh, military enlistment, he'll have his big chop and then his hair gets to grow out like he'll get to grow his hair out healthy, as if like the military isn't another institution of, I'm recording. Go use mama's. I'm like low-key live. We're gonna play up this is a FaceTime because I'm not editing this. I was sick all week. I was sick because I overworked myself. Go check out my last video. I was talking about eye color. I worked myself like a dog. Okay, I edited it. It's not the best. I'm still working at it, but I can't do it again. I can't do it again until like give me like another week to rest. But like we're just gonna like act like this is a FaceTime help. Like you just like one of my friends, and I'm just talking about, because no, I've done this actually. I've talked about Sohi. Actually, go to my Finsta. There's a video, right, where I go. The first one is like, the first video is me intellectualizing my love for Sohi. I've been talking about Sohi. I've been known about Sohi having curly hair, or like I've been speculating, allegedly, that he has curly hair for like at least since his baby pictures dropped, right? I'm like low-key obsessed with him, and anytime I get to talk about him, my friend, I talk my friend's ears off about it. So I'm talking your ear off about it. Oh yeah, military. Everyone's just like, yeah, the big chop, like military, blah blah blah, as if like the military isn't another institution of conformity and uniformity. Like if his hair starts growing out like straight, I mean, if his hair starts growing out curly, who's to say that they wouldn't expect him to also still get a perm? Because one, it's the military, and then two, he's Korean, and the beauty standard, or like I wouldn't be surprised if the aesthetic, like what they think aesthetically should be happening is straight hair, so he would still get his hair permed. I don't know. And or maybe people would be like, that's not your real hair, you're getting your hair treated. Like, what if, like, there's, like, you're treating your hair, you're not supposed to be getting your hair treated, like, wash that perm out or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm not in the military, but I'm also Black in America. I know about how like, only recently has the military really been, like, accepting our hair texture as professional. We are recently getting laws about how you can't discriminate about our hairstyles. Like, hair is actually political. And I mean, he's not Black in America, but like these things mirror each other everywhere. And I would have to say that, yeah, it is a low-key my intersection is a form of credibility because of having to experience this reality. I have an easier time going, and because of the factors like my race, my gender, my sexuality, my access to wealth, right? Like I'm capable of going, and now how is being at this intersection going to inform how you take reality? Yeah, so like the only thing that I think I have a hard time is the fact that I'm not Korean. Like I'm not living in the nation of Korea, don't know their laws, don't know anything about that political setting, right? So like that's like the only gap of knowledge that I truly have about like his intersection. I sort of get the concept of him being Asian, but also it's different to be an Asian minority and then being an Asian majority. What do you call that? What do we call white people? The majority? Yeah, like he's not in America. He's not a minority. He didn't have to be socialized as a minority. He grew up Korean in Korea with a bunch of other Koreans, even though apparently Koreans don't think he looks Korean, which, ooh, that was another one. Right? Like, I don't know what they think he looks like, but either way, it's just like because it's xenophobic over there, it could be like dangerous to him. But also, I did want to discuss like how like, ooh, Han Hyun Min, when he went to the military, I was a bit concerned for him. He's that biracial model. I worry for him a bit because it's like I don't think he hates himself, but like growing up as a minority and not having, because his Black parent is a father, and fathers are not the best parents, in my opinion. Like they actually do not instill enough value into their kids. They all, like, for whatever reason, we expect mothers to be the one to really like raise your kid, but like if the mother isn't Black, how do you expect her to raise that person to be a fully fledged self-actualized Black person? So like I don't think his dad failed him. I don't think Han Min Min even hates being Black, but there's some things that I'm just like, hey, like you low-key probably should go to therapy or some form of counseling to really unpack some things, because I can just see it. There's a dissonance there. There's something that is not connecting fully for him to like fully self-actualize and accept himself, and it's a bit not disappointing, it's heartbreaking, right? So when he went to the military, I was like, how's this gonna work? Because I already know it's hard to be in the military Black in America, so like how does that work for Korea? And I know like, yeah, we have military folk here in America that go and they get like, what do you call it, stationed. They get stationed in Japan, Korea, the Philippines, wherever else. Kenya. Yeah, Kenya too, right? But that's different because those are American army men. You know, what does it mean to be a Korean army man? I don't know. Again, like because I'm not in Korea, that's like the only gap of like I really don't even know how to like conceptualize how that stuff would inform him. You know, like he's black and he is a minority. I know that, what it means to be black and a minority. It wasn't a PWI, but it practically is a PWI. Like, not a predominantly white institute, but like a predominantly Korean institute. Like, there were no, like, he didn't have a lot of black people around him, if any. Maybe his father and his siblings. But like, anyone outside of his family? Question mark? I don't know. But yeah, I would also have to say that there was a lady who talking about, like, honestly, Korea's acceptance of like half white biracial people in Korea is a recent thing. It was not like this when I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I went, oh damn, I'm really sorry about that. And it's low key because like the way we stigmatize I don't know if you can hear that. The way like they stigmatize their existence, it's like low key the reason why people don't like bastard children, because they see children who are out of wedlock or yeah, like people doing something wrong to conceive this child means that that child is the personification of the parent's sin. And that's not how that works. What I will say is that if you speak that into the child, that's what makes the child end up being a problem in your life. But like, how do you look at it? Like, how do you look at the sins of the father and then expect, and somehow like that just like connects to your brain, like, oh, and that's why this bastard kid is conniving and malicious, and he's a trickster, and he's all this because he was conceived out of the conniving and mischief of his father. And then also because bastard children, like, and I'm thinking about like Game of Thrones when I say stuff like this, but like often the bastard child ends up being like a woman from a low value family, so like potentially a sex worker. So like for Korea, historically, biracial children were children of prostitutes and army men. So that's part of why they were just like, oh, not only are you half foreign, but like you were conceived of a low value woman or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's weird, it's icky, and that's why I'm saying, as much as like, oh yeah, xenophobia isn't that big, like they don't like foreigners, blah blah, but like it's like you don't see people fully as humans. Like maybe you can see the army men as humans, but like something about the fact that you sort of like hate like sex workers. I don't hate sex workers. I understand, like, but I also know myself where it's like I couldn't couple up with a sex worker because I'm very possessive. But like I respect sex workers. They're doing work, they're trying to survive, they're a person. And I don't think you see them as a person, and because you don't see them as a person, you don't see their children as a person. So now you don't even like biracial Korean people. Oh, it's politics. It's politics, and for that reason it's just like I wanted to bring this up because it's like, no, it's actually really rare for someone to be 100% something. You know what? Because, you know, right? Because, like, all of humanity can trace their lineage back to Africa. So at some point, you stop being Korean, Asian, whatever, Indo-European into Africa. All humanity came from Africa. You know what I mean? So, like, being strict like that, like, and I'm because I almost say something like that, and then all of a sudden everyone wants to be a niggaboo. So let me let me be careful about that. But it's just more so the concept of like, what if he does have a foreign ancestor, and that's what you're picking up on? What does that mean? Because y'all already did come after him for his family, like financial situation. So like I feel like if he exactly, this is where like the allegedly, I don't know anything about his family. I'm just saying that if if a bunch of Koreans are seeing foreign in him, what if he did have a foreign ancestry and he's like presenting that somehow? I can't see, but like, you know what I mean? Would that make people go, oh, what if like this, that, and the third, like poverty? Because people also criminalize being poor. Like it's nasty. People criminalize being homeless, being poor, being a sex worker. Like, and it's just like, I get it's not like the best. It's not a good thing. It's not. Yeah, I can say it. It's just like it's not like, you know, like if you had every option in the world to pick from, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't pick to be homeless. You know what I mean? If you could find work somewhere else, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have to do sex work. You know what I mean? But like the fact that someone is doing that does not make them less of a human, does not mean that you get away with like devaluing them. So I am saying this to say like, what if you go down the line and for whatever reason, so he does have a non-Korean ancestor? How did the conception happen? It could, but like, it could be something where someone would be like, oh, like, you know, like you don't want like I do believe in generational curses, but I also believe in generational curse breakers. So it's just like, yeah, like what if he has an ancestor that was foreign, but like they fell in love and they genuinely loved each other and they conceived a child, and or it was just like, a quick fun time, and or it was an exchange of goods. Does it matter? It would. People would look at him differently. People would somehow think that that makes him less of a person because he comes from a heritage like that. And I don't even think that, but like, I don't know. It is, it's a bit odd. I'm playing with the concept of Sohi possibly having foreign ancestry, which honestly, I don't believe. He looks Korean to me, but I don't know what everyone else is saying. And it's just a bit problematic for me to even speculate on that. Like that's why I'm allegedly, please don't sue me. And I promise, like, I'm not even being problematic. And this is why I said, hey, part of me doesn't even want to discuss this, because it's like, what if someone gets this in their head and all of a sudden now they want to weaponize that against him? Why? No, I generally sort of kind of need to understand why that would be a bad thing. Why would it be a bad thing if he wasn't 100% Korean? You hate foreigners? Why? Why are you being bigoted like that? Like, why do you feel comfortable being bigoted like that? Why? Please answer. Like, I actually, like, what's going on? I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, and this is all me. Like, these are all things that I'm thinking about because he might have curly hair. Just because he might have curly hair, which I feel like 100% Korean person could definitely have curly hair. But I'm just also saying that in a society where they don't think curly hair can be Korean, like, what if he does have foreign ancestry? Then what? Then what? What? How do we, like? What does that mean to y'all? And why are you making it a big deal? Why is that so awful? I don't know. I'm gonna move on because I don't know how else to like discuss it. Now I'm gonna talk about chemistry because I was really excited. I did a chemistry class last semester, and now even the notes that I have did help me. Let me find them. It was chapter 9 that really talked about chemistry and shit. Can you see it? I'm not going to read this off to you, but we're going to start by explaining different pHs, right? So pH goes from 0 to 14, I think. Yeah. 0 to 14, right? 7 is neutral. 7 is what water is, right? Anything below 7 is acidic, and anything above 7 is a base, right? Acids, what did I say? Anything below 7 is an acid? Anything below 7 is an acid. Anything above 7 is a base. So acids, pretty much chemically, they give off a hydrogen. They have a hydrogen to give off. A base can receive a hydrogen. Like, like they don't actually have a lot of hydrogen. They don't have an extra hydrogen to give off. That's why pH, technically, if I talk about the number, it might get confusing. And I'm only here on, I don't have like, like a little notepad. Like I do, but I'm not going to write it down. That seems like a lot to do. I'm not going to do that. But like the numbers make sense. I might discuss it later if you ask me to. But yeah, anything below, right? They can give off an hydrogen. Your skin and our hair is slightly acidic. The pH is like 4.5 to 5.5, or at least 5.5. Like I think the average is 5.5, but it can go as low as 4.5, right? No, now I get to tell you a story time. I recently bought ammonia, right? Because I was just like, I need to clean something, blah, blah, blah. And they say it's better to use ammonia, right? So I bought ammonia. I was like, okay, I have to be careful. This shit can blow, like it can blow up, not blow up, but like this shit can melt my face off, right? So then I take the sealant off and then I get a waft of relaxer. I went, so why was I worried? Because I've definitely used this stuff and it can't kill me. It can't kill me. I used to have relaxers in my hair like twice a year. Like, why was I worried? Like, why do we act like ammonia? But also, some people do discuss how it's just like, hey, like some of the hair care products or like hair care practices in Black America is like very unhealthy. Like, this is actually very concerning, the stuff that we do just to assimilate into whiteness. Yeah, so maybe ammonia is actually that dangerous. And now this is also my opportunity. Oh, so pretty much what I'm saying is that perms and relaxers are a bunch of bases, right? And chemical reactions happen between acids and bases. So when you get a relaxer or like a perm, you're doing chemical changes to your hair. It is a chemical situation going on. Now, this is my opportunity to correct somebody who's just like, a relaxer is when your hair becomes straight and a perm is when your hair becomes curly. Yes, but Black people use those words interchangeably because chemically they are almost the same thing. The first step of a perm is the same steps in a relaxer. So they are chemically the same thing. So relaxers, there are like three types based on the research I did. There is sodium hydroxide, which is lye, and lye is the stuff, or lye is like what we use to make soap. You put soap and an oil together, you combined it, they have a chemical reaction, and it becomes soap. I do think that this is the root of the pseudoscience that they're like soap is not good for you because they're like, oh, if soap is a base and your skin is acidic, like obviously something like they're not compatible. Well, water is definitely safe on your skin and it's not the same pH as your skin. What I will say, like when you use soap, it's not a chemical reaction. Now, this is why making your own soap is dangerous because technically the lye, like if the chemical reaction to make the soap, mixing the lye and the soap and the lye and the oil together is not complete and you put lye on your skin, it will do a chemical reaction to your skin. Yes. But soap is safe because it's a complete chemical reaction and it does not create a chemical reaction with your skin. Lye will though. And that's what they put in your hair for relaxers. So that really does say something about like the health of Black people who like generally like they like I think I really have to like sit with the fact that I used to get relaxers when I was under like 12. Why was I getting relaxers as a kid? And that's actually part of it where it's just like people are like, why would his mom perm his hair? Blah 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 blah. I was just like, not too much on his mama. Because my mama did it. And it's part of like it's low-key survival. I don't know if I already said that, but it's like low-key survival. So like if she's not equipped to take care of his hair, well, what's the best option? What can we do to make this happen? Get a relaxer, perm, relax. I use it interchangeably too. Now what? That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, relaxers. The first one is sodium lye or sodium hydroxide, which is lye. Then there are other hydroxides, right? And those are non-lyes. So I guess sodium hydroxide is a special type of hydroxide, right? Also, other hydroxides can make soap, but I don't know how that don't know all the science for that one. And then there's one called thios, right? Now, when I was doing research about perms, ammonium thioglycerite, thios, showed up. So in fact, they are the same thing. They're not yeah, they're a bunch of harsh bases that have chemical reactions with your acidic hair or your acidic body, right? So the pH for ammonium thioglyceride is 9 to 9.5. So it's a base reacting with your acidic skin and not skin, but yeah, skin. I will get into that skin, right? But the difference between, my apologies, a call came through. The difference between a relaxer and a perm is that when the base that you put in your acidic hair reacts with your hair, it comes after your disulfide bonds, right? And for that reason, your hair will now release some hydrogen, right? Because acids are the ones that are going to release the hydrogen. The website said that, oh no, the ammonium glycerol, blah, 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 the base is going to release hydrogen. My chemistry class said that it's the acids that release the hydrogen. So which one of us is wrong? You tell me. Like a real chemist tell me, but like there is discrepancies based on my information and the information I found online. So whatever. But either way, hydrogen is released, right? And for that reason, now your protein bonds are now malleable. The difference is that are more malleable and or they've been cut up or like, yeah, they're not holding shape anymore. The difference between a relaxer and a perm is that when now you have the malleable hair, you find something like something to roll up your hair, right? To keep shape, and then you neutralize it with an acid, preferably hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is an acid. I did check, it's a 4.5 pH. Yeah, so then you neutralize it, which 4.5 is an acid type that is a similar pH to our skin, right? So then you neutralize it. And then you leave it and you let it lock shape. And I think that's part of the reason why they're like, hey, when you get a perm, you can't like wash your hair because water would not keep the right pH. And I think it would just mess with the pHs and then like you'd end up with like ruining it. I also wanted to say that because like a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, a relaxer is permanent, but a perm isn't permanent because a perm when a perm I feel like when a perm finally like lets out, the hair is more flimsy and looser because what you did was low key a relaxer. Those protein bonds are not as strong. They're like it's not your hair is not the same that it was. It's not at the same strength as it was because you actually did eat up on the disulfide bonds and like you release some hydrogens. Those are that's not the same quality structure hair. But everyone wants to go, oh, they're two different things. They are, but they're not that different. They're only different because of the shape, like the different shaping that ends up. But like those are like, it's low key the same chemical process, a bit different, but it's low key the same chemical process. Anything else? Yeah, so I just talked about pHs or whatever, just so you guys understand that. I did some research on it. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about pHs and how a relaxer works or whatever, just to talk about it. And then I also wanted to discuss how like hair texture does change throughout life, but it is a genetic code, so it's actually not going to fluctuate that dramatically. Like I feel like some people are just like, yeah, I was born with curly hair and then my hair is straight. Well, is it straight because you don't know how to take care of your? I mean, maybe that happens. Again, like don't interact with enough people and I don't actually have enough data points to like pinpoint from. But personally, when I hear someone say, yeah, my hair used to be curly and it's not curly anymore, what I'm hearing is that you're not you don't have a curly hair routine. So your hair has decided to just flatten up. That's what I'm hearing every time. And you can go, yeah, like my hair just doesn't hold curls anymore. I'm just like, that's what I'm hearing every time. But I would have to say that there are things like the placenta perm. So like, we're gonna go through lifetimes and how different like hair textures could change. The placenta perm. I did check. Your placenta is actually close to neutral because it's 7.27 to 7.35. But technically, if it's neutral, it's more basic than your hair's acidic nature, right? So I guess if you sit in the placenta for 9 months, your hair comes out looser. Oh, I said placenta perm and I didn't explain it. I just assumed people would know. Babies come out with looser textures than what's actually going to grow out of their hair. And that's why I think people who have straight hair, right? They don't have all, I guess, yeah, I guess maybe the curlier your hair, the more protein bonds. I didn't check that. Don't quote me on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case where like different protein structures are like more not advanced, but like advanced, no, not advanced, but like more intricate protein structures are within curlier hair. But like that's why I'm not surprised when people who have like straight hair, like when their baby has straight, like you genetically have straight hair, you were born bald headed because if you're just sitting in the placenta the whole time, it's just gonna eat away at the hair. But like people, when a baby is born with a full head of hair, that's how you know it's gonna be thick. Like they have hair, they're gonna have hair. And so I saw the baby pictures. He had hair. I was not surprised. I went, no wonder he has a lot of hair, a lot of hair. It's actually not atrocious, but like maybe I shouldn't say that. But I did think maybe I shouldn't say that. But like, guess what you thought I was about to say? Because I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, so like placenta perm, right? So, and I do, oh, I wish that science was more female oriented and more black centered because I feel like if it was, then we would do more research about like why the placenta does that to hair textures. And you would know that it is like, it would be a safer alternative to like, I guess, like, you know, perms and relaxers because babies sit in that for like 9 months and babe, like it's a baby. Like, why would, like, you do, like, exactly. It's a safe alternative, but like I don't know if we've done any research. Have we? Have we? Have we? I feel like if we had, black people wouldn't be using relaxers. You know what I mean? If it was black centered and like we actually recognize that, hey, like, why does the hair always come out looser or like thinner or like wispy or bald headed? Like every time a baby is born, they always like, they don't have, your hair changes between the pre-exposure and exposure into real reality, right? Then there's also the concept of chemo curls, and this is another one where it's just like, do you have curly hair, but you were never taking care of it, but because you like cancer was your big chop moment, now that your hair is growing out, it's coming out curly, or did something, because it is also radiation, you know what I mean? Chemotherapy is radiation, so it's something actually fundamentally changing in your coding. Maybe not genetic, because again, I'm not a real scientist. I'm just observant and I'm really trying to like sit with the information I have. So it's like something actually fundamentally shifting about your like your protein structures in your head. And or did you already have curly hair but you weren't maintaining it, but because the like cancer was your big chop, now the hair is growing out healthy and renewed. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone has anyone actually done research on what chemo curls are? And I feel like it is a bit upsetting because it's just like you would have to like take hair samples before you start chemo, right? And I don't think people are really thinking about that because the goal is to get rid of the cancer, not really to like see the how like do they do research on how it affects like and not just like internally, but like yeah, little things like your hair texture changing. And then age. Your hair texture changes through age because your hormones change, right? Your hormones change like like women we stop producing as much estrogen. Your hair but what? Your hair color also changes and I feel like that does something because like light is also like UV lights and stuff like that does affect. And then also you stop secreting as much like sebaceous filament. No, sebum, like the hair, the our natural oil secretions does also lessen. And I feel like there was another one. Oh, just in general, everything just loosens up. Like in general, your body loosens up. So I wouldn't be surprised if like the building blocks that are like your proteins or whatever, they just are not as tight as they used to be. But like again, I'm not a real scientist, so what am I talking about? I do love perms do live. Oh yeah. So these are like things where I'm just like, hey, like, yeah, I do believe that your hair texture will change. And also like sometimes you'll find a product that really does like do something about like your hair reacts well to a product. So all of a sudden it's like behaving in a way that you've never experienced before. Now I want to talk about like permanent changes from like relaxers and perms because I know like a lot of like it is a treat that like you'll get a relaxer and then your new growth is like still your genetic coded hair. But I do think relaxers do something to your scalp because I had relaxers and again, I've had this hair care journey for 10 years and right now I'm at the point of my journey where I need to learn how to take care of my scalp. My hair is doing very well. I don't know what's going on with my scalp. I'm really struggling with my scalp. I really don't know what's going on with my scalp. Like I'm trying to figure it out and I don't know where to start, but like that's where my hair care, my natural hair journey has taken me where it's just like my hair feels good. My scalp is still struggling to really feel comfortable. And I do think that there are permanent damages that relaxers do. I used to get relaxers and I feel like as much as like, yeah, my hair will still grow out curly and kinky and curly, but I do think fundamentally it's just like, it's like, yeah, like when people talk about like virgin hair, which I mean, like you can shave your hair and then the new growth, that's virgin hair. But like, low key, I'm just like, once, like, it's like, it's a trajectory. And I don't know if I can ever get back to OG trajectory. Like, I'm under the impression that it's not completely permanent. Like, you can definitely heal your hair and scalp and learn about your hair or whatever. But also, part of me is just like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, underlying effects. Like every once in a while, they're just like, yeah, you can sue if you ever had box relaxers, this, that, and that. We're doing a class action lawsuit or whatever. Oh, why would we have to do a class action lawsuit? Because you know that there's stuff in those chemicals that are doing something that you can't just wash out or like shave off or something. Yeah, something's up with that. Anyways, yeah, that's just me talking about hair. Whoa, I think I'm done with the hair part. Now I get to be critical about myself. I don't really want to talk about myself that much, but I do need to. I am the possessive obsessive type. I do not experience love, I experience obsession. Right now, I am not hyper obsessed with Sohi. This is actually one of my chill episodes where I'm just like, yeah, Sohi is his own person, blah, blah, blah. But I've had episodes where it's just like, you're having my kids. You're going to be madly in love with me. There is no other option, right? And it's a bit scary for me because I low-key, it's not that I'm actively intentionally doing love spells, but part of me feels like I'm doing love spells. And for me, love spells feel like a matter of consent. Like it feels like essay. How are you forcing someone to fall in love with you by doing a spell? That's weird. And I know some people don't believe in spells. I know he doesn't believe in spirituality. I watched them do the palm readers or whatever in Japan. Let me think. What was it? Fortune tellers in Japan. He was just like, I don't really believe in that stuff. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. What I'm saying is that when we meet, not if, when we meet and you feel a ping in your chest and you're just like, what is this? Like, I don't even know this girl. Like she was the weird one talking about my hair. And low key, what you're experiencing is love at first sight. It's not a love spell on my part, but it low key is a love spell on my part because like anything can be a spell. And this is also part of the reason why I'm just like, hey, like I really do think like Sohi be doing spells and shit. Like he is a very lovable, likable person. And I need to know how much of it is intentional or how much is just like blind fucking luck. Cause he has a Sagittarius stellium. Okay, yeah, okay, I'll shut up. Like he's a very lucky person. I don't think he realizes it. But he's a hard worker. Not everything is luck. Like the best people, the most successful people are lucky plus hard workers. Oh, you can't stop those people. That's what Sohi is. I really do love and appreciate him, and I'm very interested in him. And also, I wanted to say that hey, for me, hair is intimate. Hair is spiritual. Hair is definitely something that can be weaponized about people. Like that's why, like black people now, like it's very commonplace where they're just like, hey, keep your hair braided up. When you clip your nails, make sure to flush them down the toilet. Don't just let like don't let your undergarments just hang anywhere because like people can like take that and like go get a witch doctor to go do spells on you. Keep your hair tied up, don't let people just have random strands of you, right? Like, cause like I don't want to get into all of it, but like those whole genetic codes of you, like that is like an extension of you. It has a tetherness to you. So if you take that piece of strand and they go, oh, you're going to be madly in love with me and you will have like, and that's the thing, it's not love spells, they're obsession spells. And as someone who is aware of my possessive obsession nature, it's not something that I would wish on a person. Like you have to be very careful. Like obsession is not cute. I'm just glad that I was socialized as a girl, so I have enough sense to go, hey, I don't want to overstep someone's boundaries and make them feel harassed or assaulted. Those are the two options, but like, exactly, like, and especially since part of this is just like, I feel like my higher self is trying to do love spells on Sohi back, and I'm just like, hey, so I know that Sohi did not intentionally make everyone fall in love with him. He's just a lovable person. And you can also look at me and go, you're not intentionally doing that. You're a lovable person too. But I'm telling you something, and I guess it is part of like, maybe I would have to say, I think it is low key also like how like girls, I grew up in like the church. I think it is like low key like how like you almost have like a self-loathing about like sexuality or like expressing a desire to date and stuff like that. Maybe I feel uncomfortable like discussing how much I'm obsessed with Sohi just because I low-key am uncomfortable with expressing that I want to experience partnerships. It could be part of that, but also it's just like, no, love spells, like this is a matter of consent. You can't convince me otherwise, and I'm right. And in no way am I going to do an active love spell on him. So I'm talking about his hair as if like hair isn't a factor of intimacy and love, like that can be used as spell work. No, thank you. I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable about like getting too close for comfort. And it's also parasocial a bit. Like, you know what I mean? But whatever. In the back of my mind, I'm just like, yeah, me and him, it's going to happen. But also like, can you be normal? I fear I cannot. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things about it. Oh, because I said I was possessive, and I don't know. I could get into it. I'll get into it later because I'm already tired. And really, the only thing I needed to talk about was his hair. I need to now talk about the hair tips. Now, this is a journey, and you're going to learn, you're going to experiment, right? So you're going to have flop moments. And then, oh, wait, maybe I should just cut out. Nah, I'm going to leave whatever, just so you can get little breadcrumbs of what I'm going to discuss later on about like my experience of love and passion and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, you need to learn your porosity. You need to learn your density. You need to learn your texture. All of these. Ooh, and then you also need to know if like your scalp, like your face, right, is dry or oily. Because most black people do not secrete a lot of hair oil or like not sebaceous filaments, sebum, right? That is a factor on how you need to interact with your hair, right? And these are all things that you're gonna have to figure out and experiment. So you might hear one thing from a curly person and there's another curly person is saying the opposite because low-key they have different hair porosities or oiliness or density and texture and blah, 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 right? So this is just a starting point. Sohi and anybody else who's in the audience, also, he doesn't speak English. Anton, I hope you've really taken the time to translate for Sohi. Actually, how much English does he know? Because sometimes you get comfortable thinking, oh yeah, they don't know English. It might be a situation like me. I don't speak Swahili, but if you talk to me in Swahili, I understand what you're saying. So like, do you understand what I'm saying, or are you just nodding and smiling? Anyways, I want you to start with a hair mask. You're going to put it in your hair. Be careful what type of hair mask, because there's stuff with like henna and chebi or whatever. And those are healthy for your hair, but they technically do sort of kind of do the same thing as relaxers. So just find a hydrating hair mask, right? Because actually frizzy hair is a matter of hydration. You need to hydrate your hair, right? You need to find a hydrating hair mask. You need to buy yourself hydrating shampoo and conditioner, right? So you're going to put the hydrating hair mask in your hair. You're going to let it sit in your hair for like the 15-30 minutes they tell you to, right? Then you're going to go in the shower. You're going to rinse it out, right? Then you're going to get your hydrating shampoo. You're going to wash your hair, right? You're going to rinse it out. Then you're going to put conditioner in your hair. Now this is different, where I don't know how this works. For Black people, you let conditioner sit in your hair for as long as it needs to sit in your hair, right? Apparently, I've heard some white people say, hey, if I leave conditioner in my hair, it ends up being too crunchy or something. Like the texture does not suit them. They want their hair to be soft, and something about leaving conditioner for too long makes it stiff. I don't know if maybe you just got a bad conditioner, or like this is genuinely like a hair type difference, right? I would say try either. Leave your hair, leave the conditioner. Also, when they're just like a dime size, ignore that. You need to lather your hair in conditioner. No, ignore it. Ignore it. You need to lather your hair with conditioner, because everyone's just like, yeah, but a dime size. Ignore that. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Lather it, like lather it, like low key, like how you did the hair mask. Do that. You're gonna let it sit. I want you to try try different hair time in betweens, right? If you can let it sit for 30 minutes, let it sit for 30 minutes. See what happens. Yeah, or 15. I think I wait for 15. Let me not lie. It's probably 5 minutes, but whatever. Right? In that time, I want to, just like wait or whatever. I would tell you to wash your body, but not yet, actually, right? So watch a cute little YouTube video or something, right? And then you're going to get back in the shower. You're going to rinse out the conditioner. That's when you're going to wash your body, because apparently conditioner can cause body acne. So that's why I'm telling you to wait to wash your body. So once you rinse out the conditioner, wash your body, then you're out of the shower. Oh, now you're going to need to find a leave-in conditioner. Now this is where like knowing your hair type is important. Wavy hair needs light leave-in conditioners, almost like watery consistency, right? Curly can like maybe get like a lotion type. Kinky curly, we need like almost like a mousse, almost like something gelatinous, low-key gelatinous, like very thick, right? The thicker the hair, the thicker the leave-in, right? So I think you got wavy and or curly hair. So what you're gonna need is like a light, liquidy, almost syrupy, but like watery, right? You're gonna put that in your hair. Then you're also going to get a curling serum, which I low-key think is just another leave-in conditioner, but I don't have the hair type, so you tell me what the difference is. And then I want you to find a light oil and or not, because if you have oily scalp, then you don't really need to use oil. There's also this thing called the lock method. Exactly. You're going to have to experiment. But there's also a thing called the lock method. So maybe not leave-in. So maybe don't do leave-in conditioner and then the curl serum and then the oil. If you have dry scalp, you might as well do the lock method, which is liquid oil cream. Liquid is the water that you just got from washing your hair. Oil is like an oil, just like an actual oil, no water or anything, just oil, right? And then cream is like, the emulsification, like lotion, the emulsification. Yeah. Oh, and then also get styling gel. Some people say dry your hair like towel dry. I would say low-key like air, like blow dry, but blow dry on like a low heat setting. Like don't like cool. And it's going to take a while. It is. But it's also not going to, like, it's going to help your hair, like, not, like, have the hydration evaporate from your hair. It's just going to dry. Yeah. Oh, then I also wanted to say, do not wash your hair with shampoo every day. You should try to wash your hair every other day with shampoo and or try to push it. But if you have to wash your hair every day, because that's the thing, you're a dancer, right? You're always working, so you're definitely sweating. If you have to wash your hair every day, wash your hair with shampoo one day, then the next day, co-wash. Then the next day, you shampoo with shampoo. You wash your hair with shampoo, and then that next day, you co-wash. What is co-washing? Co-washing is when you use conditioner as shampoo. So it's literally just a rinse. And it's supposed to be healthier than like shampooing your hair every day. Also, oh, this was another one. I didn't write it down. Try to find products that say no sulfates, no parabens, blah, 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 blah. And I do think sulfates and parabens low-key like strip your hair. They do. So you have to find something that's specifically no sulfate, no parabens in your shampoo and products. Those are my tips. So for now, yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for listening. I'm so sorry that I didn't edit this. I'm gonna need some time to rest. I got myself sick overworking myself and then stressing myself out. So I'm gonna need some like time to rest. But I will be back with like edited fun videos, and I'm so glad that you listened. Thank you so much. I think that's it. Why are you still here? Did you think I stopped? Oh my God, no. Okay, bye.